Welcome to the line, Bobby.
Thanks for having me.
So do you go by? I know what you go by. You go by Bobby, or do you want me to call you Blue Collar Bobby?
Bobby's fine.
Bobby's fine. Okay. I don't know, and not Bob either.
No, not so much Bob.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you stepping up to the line and having this conversation with me. We've been talking for over a year now.
Yeah, man.
And you're pretty big on Instagram and posting real stuff. You post every stinking day. I mean, multiple times a day. You're in my feed more than I want you to be, quite honestly.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
So, we're just sitting here. We're in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. You happen to be in the same area. You're here for a party tonight with your. That's what I'm calling your casino night.
Yeah, AFSA.
So, yeah. So, that should be pretty cool. And you're taking this time here to have this conversation with us here. So we're going to get started and have this conversation, but I want to find out a little bit about what you do. You're a sprinkler fitter, and you're originally from the Boston area. Is that fair? Or
an hour west.
Okay, an hour west, and that's what you're posting most about, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, with that, we're sitting here. We have a fire hydrant. I brought the fire hydrant, and you brought this thing. What's this thing here?
That's a Riptide.
So our listeners are all sorts of trades, so a lot of them might not even know what this is. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
This is a fire pump testing diffuser. So you would you'd hook fire hoses into that, and you'd flow a lot of water, and it's made to hold the hoses steady, but also grab a reading, let you know how many gallons per minute you're flowing and how much PSI is the pump. So you can see if the fire pump is still adequate.
Okay. See, when we were speaking earlier, he was like super technical, sharing all the specs and all that sort of thing, and that was the layman's version right there. A lot of water comes out of that.
A lot of water.
And let you know that your fire pump is still functional. So, yeah. So, you've been in the trade now how many years?
I got in originally 2007, full-time 2008.
Okay.
So that puts me 18, 17-ish years.
Tell me a little bit about how you got into the trade. We were talking about that earlier, and I heard your story on one of your podcasts. You're also the host of the, I'm going to say this right, the Dope and Tape podcast.
Close.
Ah, crap.
The Dope and Tape Show.
Dope and Tape Show.
And so everybody's calling it the pod, like everybody's got a podcast, right? And so since ours runs live, live stream, live viewers, we call it a show. And once the show ends, it saves, and then I think it becomes the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Technically?
Yeah. So the Dope and Tape Show, where can they find that?
YouTube.
Okay.
It's on Spotify as well, but please go subscribe on YouTube.
It's worth a watch. I will, even if you're not in the industry, I will say I laughed out loud a couple of times, and I actually don't know what I was laughing at. Probably the way that you were treating Brian. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
That's probably what I was laughing at.
He's a Southern guy, so he's very charming and he's very slow. And I'm from Boston. I just take advantage of it. But I love the guy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So in the podcast that I was listening to, you started to talk about how you got into the trade. Well, you talked about how you came in under your dad and your dad taught you.
I was voluntold.
Yeah, you were voluntold. So tell us a little bit about that story. Yeah.
So my father learned fire protection from my mother's father.
Holy crap.
Which is that throws people off. And so really the sprinkler background comes from my mom's father, my grandfather over there. And so my father started his career working with him, family business, opportunities arose. He went to a big company in Massachusetts, Environmental Fire Protection. They were the largest non-union at the time.
Okay.
And so I grew up in Leominster, Mass. And we had a vocational school. Leominster High School had Center for Technical Education. And my father told me I'm going through the plumbing trade. And it's because they didn't have, and this is another thing we can talk about, but they don't offer sprinkler or fire protection in any vocational schools.
Really?
Really. It's plumbing.
Like still?
There's one now that AFSA people in the industry have gotten in Virginia, I believe.
Okay.
I hope I'm not screwing that up, but that's kind of a big push right now. We're trying to, it should say plumbing and sprinkler fitting.
Yeah.
And a lot of these shops. And so either way, went through the plumbing trade through high school. And when I came out, I knew fitting allowances. I knew how to run the machine. I knew how to pull wrenches. And that was my father's plan from the get-go.
Yeah.
And so I got to do a little summer help at 17 as like a co-op thing, which was cool, and made a lot of money there. And at 2008, after I graduated high school in June, I've been full-time since.
Okay. Wow. No, you didn't even look back.
Didn't even look back. Just keep climbing.
So for people that are listening, like, I mean, probably a lot of people that are going to listen to this are people that are already listening to you or following you. But for the others that are listening, I think sprinkler fitters, and am I saying that right? It's sprinkler fitter, right?
Yep.
They're kind of like the forgotten people.
They are.
I mean, I've worked in the trades, and it's like, you know, I'm an electrician by trade, and the only time that I've ever dealt with a sprinkler fitter is when he puts a sprinkler right through my light, you know. But
We want that spot.
yeah, well, and you own it. I can remember having an argument, and I always lost. You get what you want.
Yep.
So, but in the trades, it's like nobody really talks about it. Nobody really
The
even
redheaded
knows.
stepchild, if you
Yeah,
would.
yeah. Why is that?
I think it's got a lot to do with it not being in vocational school, and
Yeah.
it's also not in our home. So you don't grow up using the outlets and using the toilet and all that, and so you know about a plumber because you use it, and you know about your lights because you use them. And even if you have a building and you have sprinklers, you're not using them, right? So you probably
Right.
still don't even know about them. And this is something I try to preach to the youth, trying to get some people in the industry. We work with pipes and not poop.
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen some of the water coming out of sprinkler pipes. And
It does, it does come out pretty nasty, but it's still not poop.
Oh my goodness. So, what are some of the, if I can ask, and I know you can't talk about a lot of them, but I'm just trying to give people an idea of like what a sprinkler fitter does. What are some of the projects that you've been involved with that you could talk about?
Oh, I could talk about any of them. You do anything from a CVS to a hospital, to working at the airport. I mean, any job that you would be at doing electrical work commercially, we would be there installing sprinklers with you.
What do you think is the biggest type of work where, sprinkler systems are expanding into right now?
Residential. A lot
Really?
of states are now going to require single family homes, 1,200 square feet or more. That's already taken off in a lot of places, but I think almost nationwide, if it's a 2 or 3 family and you're renovating it or building it, you have to have fire protection in there.
So this might be viewed as a stupid question, but I'm really good at stupid questions. So why do you think it's taking off in homes? Or maybe I should ask the question, why do you think it's taking so long?
It's like a tragedy thing. It's like every rule was written in blood type deal. And so with our industry, particularly, a lot of regulations and laws are made after great tragedies.
Wow.
And so
That's actually true historically about your industry.
yeah, and it's sad that it's like that.
Yeah.
But I think now there's much greater insurance breaks if you have
Yeah.
fire suppression in your home.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to your podcast and you guys were actually talking about, let's see if I get this right, electrician talking about fire protection, which is always a mistake. But you were talking about data centers and you were talking about, I'm going to butcher this, but like a water mist system. That's not what it's called. What was it called? A mist?
There's mist systems.
Mist systems. And you were talking about that it's actually being used in data centers. And you were the one on the pod. So when he does a podcast, this is like nothing. He's sitting here with one person. He likes to have 3 other people to like juggle a conversation with. So kudos to you. But you were the one in that conversation that was like, really? In data centers? And they went through this whole thing talking about how insurance right now is at the place where it's like, because things are backed up the way that they are, they don't care if there's water and the hardware is getting destroyed. They'll just replace it. And I thought that was pretty interesting, actually. 'Cause
Yeah.
I grew up putting really expensive, well, I didn't put them in, but any of the control wire and things like that, but super expensive systems where they didn't want water on something.
And here I come with a pendant right above it. Yeah, so the thing about the mist systems is it's less water. Like the gallon of water goes so much further that you're just kind of suffocating it with that mist,
Yeah.
because a lot of water damage comes after
Oh, yeah.
fires. Isn't that,
Yeah.
how long does it take them to shut down?
Yeah, you guys and your work often has been the bane of my existence as an electrician. I can remember one of my worst job experiences, and thank God it wasn't me. But we were in a industrial factory, and an apprentice bumped a sprinkler head, and they're really sensitive little buggers, and it set off the entire system, and there was so much water. It was a bad day. I'm pretty sure he was no longer employed after that day, but it was a bad day.
Did he describe it as he bumped it? Because he definitely hit it a little bit harder than a bump, I think.
Well, yes, he described as he bumped it. I'm pretty sure it was a scissors lift into the sprinkler head.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know how that works.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of water.
It was a lot of water.
It's crazy how many people you'll see just standing about.
That is exactly what was happening.
That's it.
I don't think that there would have been nearly as much damage if somebody would have
If
moved.
Everybody goes and picks a valve and shuts it. Instead, they're all just like they're deer in headlights. It happens.
Yeah.
It's like 90% of people during an emergency like that, they don't know how to react.
Well, and that I remember I took a CPR class once, and I'll never forget this. The guy said, first thing that you do in a situation where you need to give CPR is you got people standing around you watching, you go, you call 911. And it's like, because what you just said, people stand there and they don't know what to do.
Give orders.
So, you get a job, you get into the sprinkler, you're like a dynasty of sprinkler fitters here. Your dad was trained by his father-in-law. That is interesting.
Very interesting.
Tell me more about that.
I think he was happy to go off into a different company and make a name for himself.
Yeah. All summed up in one sentence.
And he did just that. And so he was really good at putting me on the crew that had several other 18-year-olds.
Okay.
And we were going to see who's the best, essentially. That's how we were doing it back then. And, if Billy and this guy are doing piping 20 heads, I better be piping 20 heads too, So it was competition when I started. And it was friendly competition. It wasn't,
Yeah.
it was all cordial, but it made you better, I think.
Well, I definitely think that is true. I mean, without that friendly competition, there's no reason to get better.
You only did 19? Wow. It's like, oh, he's going to go home and tell mom,
Yeah. So you're entering into that trade. What was it that you liked about it that you continue? I mean, how long have you been in this trade?
So, 17 years, 18
So,
years.
and you're still in the same trade. You haven't tried something else. So, well, you are trying podcasting. So, I'm sorry, show. You're trying show.
Show.
Yeah, show. Well, that's a big deal that you're not that you're still in it. Why?
Well, the podcast isn't making that much money yet. But I don't know, man. I love it. It's for the industry. Like we need more young people. I'm the young guy right now. Man, there's so much opportunity. There's so much money to be made. And I go to all these conventions. Like one of these things I'm at now I'll probably be the youngest guy here at 36.
Wow.
And that's no disrespect.
Yeah.
The closest guy here would probably be 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
And when you go to these industry events, that's what you see. You look around, and if we were able to take the average age, it's probably in its 50s. And we need to bring that down. I used to be on a job site. There'd be one old guy and a bunch of young guys, and you don't see that anymore. It's all old guys and one young guy.
Do you think that there's going to continue to be great opportunity in this field?
Yeah, it's recession-proof.
Tell me why.
Testing and inspection, maintenance, emergencies. There's freezing.
Is AI going to steal your job?
How? Maybe some office work. Maybe some processing. I don't know. Maybe a little. Like Hilti has a robot that drills hangers. So I mean, kind of already, right? But like, who wants to drill a hanger?
That's true. That's true.
I don't think that you're gonna have a robot climbing a ladder, or I don't know, robo legs or whatever, and being able to hang it and do it all alone. I think they'll, even if there is some kind of AI, there's got to be a human that's controlling it somehow, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not fearful of AI.
Yeah. Well, whether in the blue collar world, I don't think any of us should be fearful of AI. Quite frankly, whatever it's going to bring is going to help us be more efficient. We live in a world where I don't know about your industry, but electricians were short like 500,000 electricians right now. And I don't know what the stats are. I should have looked that up. In the sprinkler fitter industry.
It's probably like right there.
I'm sure that you don't have enough people to do the work. And so it's like AI, whatever it's going to help us with, is only going to help us close that gap.
Right.
That's a pretty huge gap. And I would go as far as to say catastrophic. Because we're not alone in that. There's plumbers. There's a huge amount of plumbers that are needed, and people don't realize that's how you get clean drinking water.
Very important.
You know, and I mean, we take so many things for granted that we just don't realize. And for the past, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 years, we have looked down upon the type of work that you do. We've looked down upon the blue collar statement, like there's some less than, but yet the reality is anybody that wants anything done, they're calling a blue collar person to get it done.
Right. Well, I think everybody's now starting to realize that we make some good money.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, well, and I think too, it's changed. When I started in the industry, you can make a good living, but you can make a pretty phenomenal living right now.
Yeah.
I was talking with a guy the other day, and he's a recruiter, and he's like, add a zero. You know, he's like, add a zero. If you want in this trade, add a zero to it. That's literally where we're at and where we're going. I personally think that, you know, it's like doctors and lawyers, they're going to be paying plumbers and electricians and sprinkler fitters. Like, I mean, you look at where you guys are doing your work. You're doing your work in some of the situations that are protecting some of the things that keep things moving.
Correct.
You know, and it's like there's this giant hotel, you know, over here behind us. I know that when I sleep in a hotel, I would rather wake up wet with sprinklers spraying all over me than on fire.
Correct.
You know, and it's like
A couple thousand heads in there, probably.
yeah, exactly. And that is an important aspect of the life that we live that we take for granted, we don't even realize exists. What was it like working in the trade coming up with your dad?
Oh, I felt like I learned so much during those 3 years.
Really?
There was no gatekeeping. There's a lot of gatekeeping. I experienced gatekeeping once I was, you know, out on my own, so to speak. And it's the old guy thinks that if he gives you the info, you're gonna somehow replace him. And I guess there's a little bit of leg to that, but I was never that way. If I get the info or I know the way to do it, I'm just gonna teach the guy next to me, and doesn't mean he's gonna be able to do it better.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was no gatekeeping, and so I was able to learn quick. It wasn't like there's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
And it was almost like he trusted me more than I trusted myself. Like you're in the, I call it a lull. A lot of guys call it the telehandler.
Yeah.
You're picking up a bundle of pipe, right? There's 20 of them bundled together. They're 21 feet long, and he's like, "Go get it, kid. Bring it over here." It's like, all right, this is my first time. Like, all right, this one goes up, this one goes down. Okay, we're on our way, Dad. But just things like that, where
Yeah.
it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
You don't just let the new guy jump in the telehandler.
Yeah. I think that's, you talk about gatekeeping, and I want to talk about that more a little bit later, because I think that is one thing that we have to stop. I mean, we just talked about the shortages of tradespeople, of blue-collar workers, and that is a direct result of gatekeeping. We're not helping any of that.
Give them the info.
Yeah. It's that we want to be a learn and grow mindset, not a protect and defend.
Right.
That's what we want to be.
There's little tricks in every trade, and
Yeah.
you know, if you could just pass them on, let them know. I mean,
Yeah.
some of these guys die with their tricks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's a whole nother discussion. So I want to ask you a question.
Yep.
I asked this question of everybody. You know, you opened up the back of your truck when we were here, and it's full of tools. So I usually am like, what's a tool or a piece of gear that you just can't live without? So what is a tool or a piece of gear that Bobby can't live without?
You know, I'd probably have to go cliche and say like some channel locks. Like, you know, if I'm jumping out of the truck,
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'll probably take that back and say my flashlight. I could always have a flashlight. I got it in the truck, but like a flashlight, a pocket knife, and then some channel locks. You can get anywhere with that stuff.
You know, it's really interesting. That is so specific to your trade.
No, like it's always
the
just,
fact
it's
that
dark.
you said flashlight is like, I have heard so many guys that are sprinkler fitters be like, oh, you got to have a flashlight. I mean,
There's nothing worse than when you're just like, then they got their cell phone light out.
Oh yeah.
And it shines like 2 feet. Right? So
Well, you can really tell the guys that were in the field that are maybe in an office or in a new position. They wear a suit, but they still got their flashlight with them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yep.
you can't get that out of them. It's like, do you really need that anymore? Well, I'm in the office closet looking for paper, but I got my flashlight. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think I would have to pick flashlight. And going with you just said about the suit, and back to the podcast, Dope and Tape.
Yeah.
Our first, we went to we went to an event at Universal, one of our first events together, and Brian and I,
Wow.
we had got the podcast going. We had an LLC. We had a bank account. We had never met. And so we're on a trip where we met, and the after party was at Universal Studios, and we had to walk about a mile. I'll say a mile, but it probably was like 2 miles from where we parked to get to the. And so we get to the entrance of Universal. We both have a flashlight in our pocket, and we both have to go back and put it in the car. and he's like the suit guy.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. That's hysterical. So, what I wanted to really talk with you about, you're pretty big on Instagram. You post something like 500 times a month.
Correct.
What would you say to those in the blue collar world that are out there that aren't on Instagram, that aren't on social media? Matter of fact, the guys that are gatekeeping, that are like, what's the point? What is the point?
I guess to answer, if
It's
there's
really appropriate that there's a fire truck in the background.
yeah, I
while we're
like
sitting
that.
here.
Yeah, I like that. If
I scheduled that.
because of the gatekeeping,
Yeah.
I feel like my videos can help that, right? Maybe you don't.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get the info from a video, and you got to try to show the parts of this trade, just like every other carpenter, electrician, and plumber is doing on social media. You can go and find a plethora of plumbers on social media,
Yeah.
showing you all kinds of stuff that you're familiar with, and so.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why my stuff takes off, is because people aren't really necessarily familiar with what I'm posting.
Yeah.
It looks different.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And so, yeah, man, it's really, at the end of the day, we need young guys, 18, joining the trade. We got to stop this big everybody's got to go to college thing,
Come on.
and let them go right into the trade,
Yeah.
right?
Why?
You can make money right away.
Right out of the gate.
No debt.
Yeah. Come on. Well, and that's something I think that we just don't realize. We don't realize what it feels like to, if you've never had debt, it's a pretty sucky feeling. And it's even worse. Like, I think that you can get so much farther if you start out that way and delay it. Like, some of the greatest advice my father gave me was, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was 17, and my dad's like, learn a trade. Learn a trade first, and then if you want to go to college, he wasn't going to pay for it. We weren't that kind of family. But he was like, he's like, learn a trade first. And he goes, and you'll have that your entire life. No one can ever take it away from you. And I think that's really important, because if you do that first, there are other things that happen that you learn through experience that just set you up better. There's no rush to go to college. And it's like, I've stopped saying that I'm against college. There are certain degrees that I do think are meaningless, and if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that off air. I have some pretty important opinions about that, and I have 3 kids, and I share it with them all the time.
Don't get me started on college.
But the reality is, it's not one or the other, but the blue-collar world is not less than. It is not to be looked down upon. It's not to, the reality is, there's just as much value in that sprinkler fitter as there that doctor. Because the doctor can't do his job if you're not doing yours. Because people won't be safe. And people don't realize plumbers save lives. Like, it is amazing if you look at the stats of clean drinking water versus when you don't have clean drinking water, how many people die.
A lot.
Just look at history. Now electricity, the only thing that brings us is it staves off chaos. So,
Yeah. I need electricity for my fire pump
yeah.
most of the time. I need your help for that, for the alarms to go off.
I do find fire pumps are really interesting. I remember being an apprentice, and in the electrical world, it's all about protecting the circuit and protecting the wires so that we don't start a fire. When it comes to your stuff, they don't care. Like, the code is even written, and it might have changed, but I remember when I was an apprentice, they're like, yeah, don't put any overcurrent protection on that. Let it run until it burns to nothing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, always a good time.
Just let it run. Don't
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah. So tell me more about, you're learning with your dad in the trade. You're dealing with gatekeepers. Let's talk about that. The gatekeeping in the world of this industry, and guys being concerned about losing their job and losing their opportunity. Why do you think? What do you think they should be doing? This older generation that is, like, you're talking about this event here tonight. You're probably going to be the youngest guy here. What would you say to them that are concerned about losing their job because they're sharing that information with the younger guy?
You can get the younger guy to do all the shit work. You just gotta be nice to him. Like, he can drill your shields. Like, so, and that was really the biggest thing. Like, okay, the fitter's not gonna drill the hanger. He's not gonna drill the hole overhead in the concrete. He's gonna have me after you drill it. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
By doing all the shitty steps, right?
Absolutely.
And the gatekeeping really came. The company my father and I worked for fizzled up, and we're turning into something else. And I kind of wanted to go something new.
Yeah.
Where my name didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And so I went to a different company, and that's where you would find the gatekeeping. And it's like, if you have a great trick that you've already mastered,
Yeah.
and you're gonna
Come
go
on.
and then hand that to somebody, do you think they're gonna be better than you at doing that trick? They're just learning it. They're not gonna steal your job.
Yeah.
You're gonna get better together. And the other thing is that when little Billy goes to the next foreman, you want him to say, "Man, who trained you?" You want him to say that in a good way or a bad way?
Yeah. Come
Like,
on.
are you blowing the work out of the water and just impressing him every way? He's like, "Man, who trained you?"
Yeah.
Or are you just like some slouch that sucks? And he's like, "Who trained you?" And it's going to go back to who trained him. And I don't
Yeah.
want to be that guy. I want to send my
on.
apprentice off, and he like looks like a rock star.
Absolutely.
And so just teach them all the tricks. No one's gonna be able to retain it all and do it better than you.
Well, don't you think that when you do that, it's almost like you're providing, you're training your replacement, but in a good way.
In a good way.
Because then you can move on to the next level. Like, I think that's the thing that people don't understand. When we live in this protect and defend mindset, it's like you are literally trapping yourself right here. I mean, we're two guys that started out as apprentices in different trades, and we're sitting on a podcast being paid by other people to be here sitting down having a conversation.
Correct.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you would have told me that when I was a second-year apprentice, I would have been like, what are you smoking? Like,
No way. Yeah, it's in the grass next to a fire hydrant.
yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the reality. We have to get away from the protect and defend, because all it does is it limits you even in where you're going to go. I think the other thing that I would just, I'm curious your take on this, but I hated AI, and then I realized that if I didn't start using it in some way, because I'm an old school guy, I wasn't on social media till my mid 40s, and I like old things. I like things the old way. Like, I like old leather boots. I like, if it's an old school tool, that's what I like. I like the way things always were. But the reality is, I've learned specifically, we do some things in trying to help people's businesses get found. And what I've realized is now with AI, like, there's no turning away from it. It's kind of like when cars became a thing, there was an entire industry that disappeared in 20 years. The horse stalls, the horse and carriage, like, it was like that, and it was gone. And AI is going to do that in some ways. And the way that I think it's going to do that is, if you're paying for Google ads or you're doing things like that, that's not how people search anymore. Like, my kids, they'll bring up AI and they'll be like, hey, find me places to eat around here. And AI searches the internet and Instagram feeds. It searches YouTube. It searches all these things. And so if as a business you're not posting that stuff, no one's going to find you.
Right.
Like, no one's going to. So I might have answered my own question there. But to that point, what would you say to the companies that are out there that need to be posting? And what are some strategic things that you would encourage people to do in how they post?
I think that every contractor should have their own Instagram page. Because that's what people look for, especially the youth. When they're like, if someone's, all right, I'm going to go to apply to this place. I'm going to go apply to Crown Plaza Sprinkler, right? The younger people are going to go on Instagram and go on social and see what is their presence.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have a social media presence. Probably a bunch of old guys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think that you should be posting and promoting Employee of the Month, your best project. Like, what's the best thing that your company has installed that you can look back on and show and say, this is what we do. We take pride in our work.
Yeah.
And so social media is a website in 2025. The websites are now not that important, and just think of social media as your website. That's where everybody's going to see what are you capable of, what are you putting out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that you're right. I think social media is a conversation, and I think people are desperate for that now. Like, with Instagram and TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, And it's not that daunting to be on the ones that you need to be on. You don't need to be on all of them. And if you're gonna pick the big three, then pick the big three. But it's like, then people are gonna be able to find you. And to your point, young people, it's like they're not gonna believe that you're a legit company if you don't have an Instagram, which is really funny when you look at some of the companies that do have an Instagram. Like, if you're the old hat big company and you're not posting on that, and listen, oh, I just got to say this. If the person that's posting for you is above 55 years old and it's clip art from Microsoft in 1993, you got to rethink it.
Hand it off.
Absolutely.
Hand it off to the young bloods.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's less stressful for... Listen, my kids post way faster and better than I do. And
Sure.
I
believe
it's easier for the... Thanks a lot. Thanks. Yes. Oh, my gosh.
I believe it.
Yeah. You don't mean to swear. Oh, I love it. So now your Dope and Tape podcast. Why are you doing that? I did it again. The Dope and Tape Show.
The Dope and Tape Show. I'll accept that one.
Trying to say it like Vanna White there.
So that kind of stems from... I was streaming video games. You asked me about my headset.
Yeah.
I do play video games. And so I was going to be the next video game streamer. You should have seen me. My wife was watching because she felt bad. And so that was me. I'd be playing, and I'm really good, and I thought I was funny, but it would literally be my wife watching because she felt bad. And so through Instagram and meeting people, I met Brian, and Brian was an inspector in Atlanta, and I'm an installer in Boston. And he had a story from the previous week, and I had a story from that day, and we were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I decided, well, instead of streaming the video games, like, I'm going to live stream this Zoom call.
Yeah.
Screw the video games, it's not working.
Yeah.
And my wife's texting me. She's like, "There's 10 people watching," and it's like it's just me and this random guy from Atlanta that I just met on the interwebs, talking about our workday.
Come on.
And you can go back. I'm wearing like a white tee. I'm just like, "Are we live? I think it's live. I think it's live." And like we didn't know what we were doing. We like didn't know how to communicate to the people. And I was like, "Dude, people are watching. Like, this is crazy. Like, we're gonna like, let's do this again." We were doing Tuesday. We were doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday at first.
Holy crap.
We're going live 3 nights a week.
Wow.
At 9 o'clock. And people were just coming out of the woodwork. Everybody wanted to be on. It was like we'd have 5, 10, 20 people watching us. Yeah, it was cool. And then I started getting better at putting photos or overlays or the chat, or when someone follows, the thing will pop up, and you learn. Everything was trial and error. And started to procure my background and put all stickers and everything, and it just really then we started talking about AFSA, which is an event that I'm here for, American Fire Sprinkler Association.
That was a plug in case you guys didn't notice.
Yeah. And NFPA, these are expos, fire sprinkler expos, and so car guys go to the car shows, and gun guys will go to gun shows. And I'm talking to Brian, like, why don't we go to the sprinkler show? And so I'm on YouTube. Can't find a video. Can't find one video of inside. Like, what are we doing in these expos?
Come on.
So I started talking about it. After talking about it for a little bit, our first sponsored episode by Arco. Now, I work for Arco now. I'm wearing the hat, but at this time, I was in Local 550 in Boston.
Okay.
And Brian was working in Atlanta as a inspector, and we have the owner of Arco on the show. It's because he owns a manufacturing company. We want to get his story, and live on air, he invites us to Las Vegas next week. And so
I love it.
He says, you guys should come to NFPA next week in Las Vegas. And you can watch the show. I was on Cape Cod on vacation with my wife and kids. I already had a week off from school. And so I said, I don't know if I could swing this. I already got a week off, and now I'll have to take another. I don't know if I can just all of a sudden take off to Vegas. And he goes, I'll pay.
Yeah.
I want you guys to come and experience it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, well, I guess I can do that, right? And so we shut it off, and I walk out, and my wife's like, did you just get invited to Las Vegas by an old guy? And you said, yeah. I'm like, yeah, honey, this is it. We're going to Las Vegas, right? And so this guy's shutting us down.
I don't know. We'll see.
And so that was that. That was the trip that Brian and I met for the first time after 6 months, LLC, bank account, going live every Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. we meet for the first time in Las Vegas at NFPA, and here I am interviewing people at the booth and whatnot. It was
Wow.
it was epic.
Wow, that's awesome. So, talk to me a little bit about. You say your wife. So she sounds like she supports what you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's supportive.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So
Thumbs down.
we're gonna pause.
A few moments later.
We're back.
Bobby, what's what? Let me starting over. Yeah, we paused for a second. Now we're back. So in this, wow, it really messed me up. All right, why don't you ask me a question?
How long have you been doing this Blackline podcast?
We started in 2023,
Okay,
and so
a couple years.
yeah, or we launched it in 2023. We were recording before that, so it was something that our creative team really pushed me to do and to step out in, because to fill the void, kind of like what you're doing, to lift the view of the trades. That's what we say that we want to do. We want to lift the view of the skilled trades industry, and so we just we really got into that, and it's started to take off, and it's just about telling the stories of the men and women who do the work. So
That's
yeah.
great, and I love how with the podcast and the videos per se with them now,
Yeah,
it will live on the internet forever.
absolutely.
And so anybody that, and particularly that we interview, a lot of old guys, hopefully
Yeah.
those videos are just there forever now. Their
Yeah.
stories, and we'll ask about flood stories, which is always you spoke about, and so that's something big we touch on in our podcast is tell me your flood story. And
Absolutely.
some guys want to talk about it, some guys don't.
Yeah.
I never advise to give the location
Yeah.
or the contractor.
Well, we won't be giving the location of where we are.
Yeah, right. I'm sure I'll hear about that
yeah,
later.
yeah,
There was already a couple people that I noticed that are here that were like talking and taking pictures, and so
Oh,
now it's
nice.
already made it back to ownership that we're on here. So
That's awesome. All right. Well, with that, I always ask this question: what's a mistake that you've made that you feel like you've learned from that you would be willing to share with people?
excessive drinking in my younger years.
Really?
And is it the American way? I don't know. I feel like that was the cool thing to do, was to
Yeah.
drink, right? So
Yeah.
starting in high school and through my career and at work and after work and just a lot of drinking. And I was a functioning drunk, if you would. Like I wasn't missing work ever. I
Yeah.
wasn't like calling out, but I was getting drunk every day.
Yeah.
And you're working in Boston, man. There's a breakfast joint and a bar at every corner. So no matter where you go, you can go get a couple cold ones and a clam chowder, and right back on your lift. So I did that for far too many years before I realized that it was really hurting me, everyone around me, my growth, everything.
Yeah.
And so that was definitely a big mistake.
What would you say to people who are struggling with that now? Like, what was your way out?
A lot of people around me were really pushing me to quit for years. I was just no off switch. I wouldn't like throw up or pass out. I could just keep drinking,
Yeah.
and that was bad. It would be causing a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And so I tried quitting many times for others, and
Yeah.
it never worked. I
Yeah.
just like quit for a month just to like prove something. But once I really having my son, I had a son, my wife and I, and just holding that little bastard. I'm like, I can't be. What happens if there's a fire or a burglar or some kind of catastrophe and Dad's just hammered, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a big part of it. And really just, I wanted to, have my career do a little bit better and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So it was really just, it was for me. It was self-accountability. I had to do it for myself, and that was the only way I could do it.
Absolutely.
I got a DUI in 2011, and I had to do forced AA meetings, and I didn't like those, so
Yeah.
they didn't help. And
Yeah.
so I did it without, I used pot for a crutch. Pot was very helpful in the very beginning. I could drink a liter of Jameson after work
Holy. Wow.
every day.
Wow. And you don't drink at all anymore?
Zero.
Zero. We talked about that a little bit earlier. You mentioned how, maybe Maybe a guy can go have a beer, but it's different for different people.
Let's go have a beer after work. I'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go have a beer. And I'd
Yeah.
have a beer with him. Maybe he only had a beer. I sure as hell didn't have a beer.
Oh my gosh.
I would drink all night.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate your honesty. I appreciate the way that you talk. I appreciate the way that you post. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to sit down and have a conversation with you, because I think that matters. When we're posting or we're talking online, everything out there is so fake and so not real. Telling real stories, talking about the real problems that we face, that matters. Not only does it matter to help people know about the trade and know how to get into the trade and what to do, but it helps people know how to change their life.
Right.
You know, it's good for people to know that there are other people that might be struggling with what they're struggling with. What do you think? I mean, you kind of said this, but it's like, what about that guy that's out there that doesn't know that he's struggling with that and is drinking a liter of Jameson?
Are you drinking alone? Are you sitting there at night drinking alone? That's kind of the sign.
Yeah.
When you end up drinking alone.
There you go. From Blue Collar Bobby. If you're drinking alone, it's probably a problem.
Something's yeah.
So-
All right, yeah. Waking up early,
Yeah.
swigging that Jameson to
Oh.
just that gets rid of the hangover right away. Ice cold Jameson at the crack of dawn.
Oh my gosh. So, what do you say to those who are out there that are looking for a job in the sprinkler fitting? You know, where do they go? How do they find it?
I get this question a lot on Instagram, and I tell them go to Google Maps,
Yeah.
type in fire protection, and there's going to be several companies that are going to show up. I'd be surprised if they don't. And I would jot down the addresses, and I would go on a Monday, go tomorrow, go the next day that they're open, and go apply to each 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the ones in your area. Tell them that you're new, tell them that you're eager, and be ready to work, and then go with the best offer that you can get. Like they're probably all going to want you. Is
Yeah.
the thing. You think that nobody's going to hire you. They're probably all going to want the new guy.
Yeah.
You're not going to be making all this big money that the blue collar guys talk about on day one. You're at the bottom of the totem pole. You got to work your way up, right?
Yeah.
But it really just starts with going and applying, and that's with anything.
Absolutely.
And then shop around.
What's the secret to being the best at this job?
Don't ever call out. It's dependability at the end of the day.
Come on.
Like you could
Yeah.
just be you could be a mediocre mechanic, you could make a lot of mistakes, but if you're there every damn day, you don't
Yeah.
and I say call out sick, but it's like most people are calling out tired,
Yeah. Come on.
right? Just like you're going to be tired at home. You're going to be sick at home.
Yeah, come
Just
on.
show up to the call out when you feel good and go fishing, right? Schedule the day off in
love it.
advance like a normal person.
Yeah.
And so that was the thing. It was just dependability. And anytime there was ever overtime, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I wouldn't I got to check with my wife or I got to check my calendar. We could have been getting married. And
Yeah.
can you work two Saturdays from now? Yes. Yes, sir. And then I'd figure it out after. But always just say yes. Always be there. And
So
I think
how do you handle that with being married? Your wife seems really supportive. She's really in it. Sounds like you guys are still married.
Yep, we are.
So how do you handle that I don't want to call it balance because I hate that word. But how do you still have a family and do that? Sorry, I'm pushing a little deeper
No,
there.
I like that. I mean, so working on a Saturday, and I'm talking about when I was in Boston, I would always sign up. Obviously, now I'm not working any overtime. I'm on salary.
Yeah.
But when I was, I would say yes to that Saturday, but I'd still be home at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
right? And Dad just made an extra $1,000, so that's
Yeah.
how I would justify it.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Well, Bobby, we have equipment. We have our fire hydrant. We're not allowed to tell you where we are. This is a top secret location.
We may or may not
So-
just got kicked out.
Yeah. So, it makes sense. I do a podcast with you and we get kicked out.
Yeah. And
Like,
now I gotta
seriously.
go. Now I gotta go in this place.
Yeah. It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. Well, you don't stand out.
No,
So,
not at all.
it's not like you have a very specific face and mustache all over the internet.
Yeah.
Bobby, thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation.
Yeah, man.
with me.
Thanks for
I
keeping
greatly
up and
appreciate it.
and keep on messaging. And I know we've been trying
Yeah.
to do this for a while.
Absolutely.
I was with a different company when we
I know.
originally started talking, and
I know.
we were doing a job in Allentown.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to meet you.
Yeah.
Or something, and I'm glad we finally made it work.
Yeah. Well, I think we should do it again at a location that doesn't mind so much.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Absolutely. So you keep communicating with me. Maybe you got a cool location where we can have you testing this out in the background. That'd be pretty sick.
We could. I mean, we could
Yeah.
do that right in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And go to the shop, the Arco
Yeah.
shop, and run the hydrant out back.
I actually think maybe we just do that right now as a way to leave. You know, we leave and we just open up this hydrant and get out of here. I'm kidding.
I could.
I'm kidding.
I got
I'm
the
kidding.
tools. I don't have a hose. I got the open atmosphere nozzle. We can hook right to it.
Oh my gosh.
Wash the truck.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my word. Problem is our name is all over the truck. So.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a great conversation.
Appreciate you.